laughing at me as I got ready for this video. My chia hair's gotten out of control.
There's a new pet. Chia. Chia Pet, the pottery that grows.
Everyday tasks in an RV are not that different than what you would do in a house. It's just the tasks themselves can be a little bit different and the way you do those tasks can be different. So today, haircut, oil change, fix the bike. So the haircut, I would normally obviously go to somebody and get my haircut. It's not so much I care to pay 10, 15 bucks to get a haircut. It's just a pain to find somebody different to cut your hair every time you're in a different town. So I'm cutting my own hair instead of going to somebody to cut my hair. Oil change. Usually I would hop in the car, take it somewhere to get the oil changed, and they would change it for me. In our case, we just can't take our 40-foot motor home and pull into a Jiffy Lube and tell them to change our oil. So I'm gonna have to change oil myself. And then fix the bike. We never really rode our bikes that much, so I didn't have to fix bikes before this. So that's totally different too. So all three tasks today are things that when we lived in a house, didn't really have to do those this way. I'm not saying it's bad, just different.
Ow!
Ouch! Hensley's task for today is to continue to eat all of our food and make a mess.
I get this place cleaned up. Every time we move, it's like, which you have to sweep almost every day. I pretty much just follow behind Hensley all day and clean up after her.
I think a lot of the daily tasks are just a definition of what it is to be an RVer. I think a lot of RVers, you just got to be kind of independent and got to be able to do things on your own. Definitely not perfect. It's better than it was, and it's not as bad as last time.
I'm trying to give Nathan the Ryan Reynolds haircut.
Maybe you shouldn't compare it to that because it's gonna come out way worse. We're gonna call this the Ryan Reynolds military look. I might as well just shaved it, babe.
Hit a girl back.
I put this on so we can finish the video.
We'll just travel somewhere where it's cold.
Pretty much Ryan Reynolds, right?
Pretty much.
Colorado has these tiny little thorn things that like are all over the place. They stick in your feet. Sometimes your bare feet, they get drug inside. And the worst part is they stuck in 3 of our 4 bike tires. I've already put this stuff in my 2 bike tires, and so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the bike tire of Marissa's that went flat and see if it holds up, just because I've already got it. And we're just trying to squeeze a little more life out of these bikes rather than put the time and energy into totally changing out the tires, which might be what I end up doing anyways. It's like a crazy simple, like 60-second process. Pull out the valve stem, put the ooze in there, and then put the valve stem back in. All I have to do now is just pump up the tire. Hopefully it's good to go. So like a lot of other things RV related, changing the oil was not something I had to do in my vehicle very often before I had an RV. Then what I do know about changing an oil, pretty much taught by my dad, who also taught me to drive a manual. Both those things have come in very handy, so thank you, Dad. But I say that to say I am not a mechanic. The way I change the oil may not be exactly right. It may not be exactly the way you do it. So I'll show what I know, double check what you know or what you need to know on your own vehicle before you do your own oil change. So supplies I use to change the oil: 7 quarts of oil, tarp. These 2, I actually don't have a drain pan because I've got a release valve that can hook onto this hose and then drain directly into here with very, very little mess. This is taking the oil filter off, and then here's the oil filter. I use 7 individual quarts instead of 1 gallon and 3 individual quarts, which would be a little bit cheaper, I know, but at least for our gas RV, when you're trying to pour the oil in, it's a real pain with that gallon jug. I've also got one extra 1 gallon jug that sort of catches the excess oil from when I take the filter out. So I like to start up the RV for about 5 minutes, let it warm up the oil a little bit. That makes it drain a little bit faster. Unscrewing the cap is supposed to help it flow a little faster too. And something to keep in mind too, not every park is gonna be okay with you changing your oil where you're at. But where we're at now, it's not gonna be a problem. This is way cleaner than messing with the bolt and letting the oil fly out. And like this RV too, it's a pain. Got this bar right here, and it's really hard to get an oil pan up here. I tried to do the oil pan the first time and it just was not good. I'm sure there's gonna be questions about this valve. I just remember I got it on Amazon, that's about it. So I couldn't tell you much more about it than that. It was maybe 10 bucks-ish, maybe. You know, if I had my own garage and my own resources, but when I'm like changing my oil at a campground a lot, I mean, it's pretty critical. I try to keep things as clean as possible. Speaking of keeping things as clean as possible, this is usually the messiest part. I definitely don't have this down with the oil filter, but we'll see. Hopefully it won't get too oily. Dropped it when I unscrewed it. It landed right in here, so wasn't a big deal, but old filter's off. Let's get the new one. So this is where the 1 quart jugs come in handy over the 1 gallon jug because it's a really tight fit under here, and these can actually get to where I need to pour it in versus the 1 gallon, you know, be a mess. The last 2 things I gotta do, I'm gonna start up the engine and let it run and make sure the oil filter's not leaking, and then I'm gonna check the dipstick, make sure everything looks good, and then we're good to go. Filter is not leaking. I'm gonna turn this off. Dipstick looks good. I still haven't picked everything up. By the time I do that, I'm gonna say it took me about 45 minutes start to finish to do this. Somebody who knows what they're doing could probably do it in under 30. If they already had the stuff out in a garage, probably under 15. But to me, even at 45 minutes, the amount of time and hassle it would take me to get this RV somewhere for the oil changed or paying a mechanic to come out here, I mean, it's just well worth it just to go ahead and do this myself. Of course it's raining, but we went ahead and came to Durango anyways because we're not sure how many more chances we're gonna get. We're just gonna do what we can do.
How many chances do you get to jump in mud puddles in Durango? So you have to take advantage of it.
Don't touch it.
That's right, how'd you guess?
There. It's right. Nose. The other nose.
For only $13.50, Hensley will give you a guided tour as well.
Careful, bear.
Don't fall off the rock.
Rock. Nose. Not on the hug the otter.
You gonna hug the otter?
I got a fish.
Mm-hmm.
I got a cat. Meow.
It's a bobcat.
Meow.
Yeah, sure.
Dancing Cody.
Can you dance?
Wheeze. Careful with the fox. Careful, Odie. Supermarket. A train. New toy. New pumpkin.
The horse's carriage. Been a very difficult place to make sure Hensley doesn't touch things or run. It's pretty cool though. Man, look at this collection of figurines.
This caboose was built in 1886.
See the space shuttle?
3, 2, 1, it's off.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
guessing they shovel the coal from here and put it in there? Is that how it goes?
Yep.
Go.
So I was talking to an employee here, and she said that most all this was owned by one person. This is like his personal collection.
Wow.
She said he owned like 3 railroads. So when you have that much money, you can collect whatever you want, I guess.
And it's free.
Yeah.
It's just donation based.
Yeah, so it's cool that they let the public in to see it.
Yeah, so even if you don't ride a train, coming over here and checking this out, and then you can even watch the trains come in and out. It's really cool.
I collected some stamps when I was a kid. Don't really have much room to collect many things RVing anymore. I guess you could still collect stamps though. There's an insane amount of restaurants here. The girl we talked to said there's, what, as many per capita as San Francisco or something? I'd believe it. I bet every other business looks like a restaurant. Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Say bye, Durango.
Bye, Durango.
So just like living in a house, there's definitely tasks that have to be done. Some of them when you're RVing you might be familiar with, some of them you might not. It's been good for us. It gets frustrating sometimes because if you don't like being a newbie, it's like you're a newbie at all kinds of things. You know, that's also adventurous. That's also something new, and that's also part of the journey. But I got everything crossed off my list today, at least. It rained on us as usual going into Durango, but you know, we got to check out a few things, and it's a pretty cool town. But we'll call it a night. Catch you guys later.